Football isn't always fair, and some of the biggest moments in footballing history have been complete injustices. From Maradona's hand of God, to Frank Lampard's goal not being given, the Champions League final referee in 2009, or Thierry Henry's handball to knock Ireland out. The examples are endless, but the one that stands above all of them is the fact that Robert Lewandowski still does not have a Ballon d'Or. And I'm not talking about 2021. You can argue about whether he or Messi could have won that all you want. But in 2020, it was unanimous. He won the Bundesliga and the Pokal with Bayern, completing the treble and having more goal contributions than anybody in the world. But because of the COVID outbreak, France football completely canceled the award that year. And despite there being rumors of them awarding it posthumously like he deserves, they've denied those allegations and told Lewandowski to suck it up. But he's not the only player who has been screwed out of winning a Ballon d'Or. There's a lot of big names who've never won it. So today we're talking about all of them. And we'll start it off with last year because they gave it to Lionel Messi. Yet I had 2 goals and 6 assists in my amateur indoor league, including bangers like this one. Really don't know what more I've got to do. And after learning that I didn't win Ballon d'Or, I started this YouTube channel because if I don't win it again this year, I'm just going to become a YouTuber. So make sure you hit that subscribe button because I need a backup plan. But after all, defenders like myself have a little bit of a tougher time winning Ballon d'Or. It favors the forwards. Just ask Paolo Maldini, possibly the greatest defender to ever grace the sport. He was the symbol for the Italian national team for an entire generation. He led AC Milan to 7 Serie A titles, 5 European Cups, which by the way is more than Barcelona have as an entire club, more than Manchester United have as an entire club, which is incredible for his trophy cabinet, all while being one of the most versatile defenders across the back line that you could ask for. Yet his highest ranking in the Ballon d'Or was 3rd place. That's tough. But Maldini is not the biggest player by far who's been snubbed of the Ballon d'Or because Diego Maradona and Pelé have not won the award either. And this wasn't because they weren't the best of their generations respectively. They weren't the best in any given year. It was simply because this award, from when it was inaugurated in the 1950s all the way to 1995, was an award just for the best European player, before in 1995 it switched to the best player in the world. And respectively, George Weah was the first player outside of Europe to win the award. Although Di Stefano was both Argentinian and Spanish, and he won it twice in the 50s, but that was because of his Spanish citizenship, so he kind of found a loophole there. So we'll keep it to players who were eligible to win Ballon d'Or but still couldn't get the job done, like Thierry Henry, who was part of the Arsenal Invincibles squad in 02-03 as their best player by far, having over 20 goals and over 20 assists in one league season, which has only been done basically by Messi and Thierry Henry, and only been done by Thierry Henry in the Premier League since and before. And so with that kind of run, you would expect him to win the Ballon d'Or, but instead it was given to Pavel Nedved. And the argument for Nedved is that Arsenal did not get out of the group stage in the Champions League, yet he was a big part to carrying Juventus to the Champions League final. But they lost it, so I don't know how Thierry Henry did not win the Ballon d'Or that year, and he never won it any other year either. Now we're gonna transition into a brand new segment sponsored by the like button. It's a fun one, guys. It's called "You're a Great Player, but You Made a Piss Poor Decision of Existing at the Exact Same Time as Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo." Now it's a long title, I get it, but I think it gathers the essence of what we're trying to do here. We'll start with Andres Iniesta, who in 2010 had a great year. He scored the winning goal for Spain in the World Cup. And he also had an incredible league season where he got a lot of assists with Barcelona. The only problem, he was passing the ball to Lionel Messi, who ended up winning the Ballon d'Or. And he also finished 3rd 2 years later to, you guessed it, behind Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Xavi also finished 3rd place 3 years in a row. That's a lot of bronze medals. Franck Ribéry had a great year with Bayern Munich, winning the treble in 2013, but ended up finishing 3rd, behind Cristiano Ronaldo, who was 1st. and Lionel Messi in second. There's a few more names on this list, like Neymar, who, if he just existed a generation earlier, probably would have won like 3 Ballon d'Ors, but unfortunately ended up just getting third place a couple of times, and that's expected when you play with Messi and Ronaldo. It's hard to compete with somebody who's scoring 92 goals in a calendar year and another guy who's winning 3 Champions League straight in like 5 and 7 years. It's a little bit unfair. I mean, you're just not going to win Ballon d'Or. You've got guys like Van Dijk, a center back, who almost won the Ballon d'Or, but unfortunately got squeaked out by Lionel Messi. And so those are a lot of, not all of the names who could have won a Ballon d'Or if they just simply didn't exist at the same time as Messi and Ronaldo. Luis Suarez, however, does have a Ballon d'Or, but not that one. The Spanish Luis Suarez. He finished first, whereas Ferenc Puskás finished second behind him. And Puskás never won a Ballon d'Or, despite being possibly the best player of his generation, one of the greatest of all time, carried the Hungarian national team to their greatest ever era, and he was the top scorer for Real Madrid during this time period. And for some reason had 4 caps for Spain and 1 for the Madrid national team, which is a true statement, and I do not have time to get into it. Dennis Bergkamp was one of the best strikers of the 90s, and after he finished 3rd in 1992 and then 2nd in 1993, everybody thought he was about to win it in 1994, but then when the Netherlands were knocked out by Brazil in the quarterfinal of the World Cup, his chances diminished and he didn't end up winning the Ballon d'Or. And he didn't even after moving to Arsenal and continuing a very successful career. The Ballon d'Or never fell his way, but no one can deny the fact that Bergkamp was one of the most feared strikers of the 90s. Even more difficult than defenders to win this award is goalkeepers, because it's only been done once over 60 years ago by Lev Yashin in 1963, but it's pretty funny that Gianluigi Buffon came in second to one of the only 3 years that a defender has won the award, which was Fabio Cannavaro in 2006. Imagine finishing second in one of the only 3 possible years that a defender actually did win it. That is just extremely unlucky for Buffon. But there was even a 25-year period where not a single goalkeeper was even nominated until Oliver Kahn finally got 3rd place in the early 2000s. But there's also been some super consistent goalkeepers like Iker Casillas, who helped his country win a World Cup and won some Champions League with Real Madrid, never won the Ballon d'Or. And then Neuer, who probably could have been thrown in with the segment we had earlier with Messi and Ronaldo, where he finished 3rd behind them in 2016. So just unlucky for goalkeepers. It seems like that France football just throws them the Golden Glove award, says, accept this secondary award because we're never gonna give you a Ballon d'Or ever again. But let me know who else you think has gotten snubbed out of a Ballon d'Or, because I'm sure I've missed a couple. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for Nitro Football, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.